Hi guys, it's Lisa. Thanks for stopping at my channel. As I promised, I told you I would show you how to do these abstract roses. I think they're really super great. You can use it as an art journal page, or you can use it, as you see here, as greeting cards. Whatever you think you need to do. I think they're super great. I'll show you quickly how to do it, and I'm ready for an event that I have to have 35 of these done, so I'm almost done with that. So they're really quick and easy. Like I said, some of the supplies that I have on my desk for this project: card base and a piece of colored paper, which I chose red. I've got a dot liner to put my cards together. I've got 2 palettes for paint. I've got some scrap paper that I'm going to use to make my flowers. Big scissors, a brush, a Stabilo pencil in black. And I have some acrylic paint here. I have a red, a pink, and a magenta. Now, use whatever colors you want to for your roses. Obviously, they come in all different colors. You could have yellow roses, which were my husband's grandmother's favorite. There's orange. There's like a grayish color, which are my favorite. And then we've got 2 colors of green that we're going to use for the leaves. So I'm going to set that aside, and we're going to get started. And you're wondering, oh my gosh, I won't be able to do this. It's going to be difficult. Well, you'll be surprised how easy this actually is. I'm going to start by squeezing out a little bit of paint. I'm going to do the magenta, some pink, and I'm using cheapy craft paints. I've had this one probably 10 years. Just use up what you have. I cannot tell you that enough. I'm a firm believer in that. And I like any color of red. We'll go ahead and put a little bit of green down. I've got 2 different colors of green. One of my favorites is this Verde Prato, and this is by Allegra. Something that I've had a long time, back when I used to create for Stamperia. This one here is really old too, but it's one of my favorites. It's a Hoosier dark green. I will definitely replace this color when I run out of that. We'll put our card bases to the side, and I also did bring sentiment labels, which you can see on the cards here. This one says "Missing You." It makes a really quick and easy project. These are by Tim Holtz, and makes really quick and easy cards, like I said. So we'll be using those. We're also going to be needing a paper trimmer, and the size that we're going to be needing is a little bit smaller than this. I have this scrap paper that I've been trying to use up, and you can see I can get 2 card bases out of this. So when I'm making my flowers, we're going to keep that in mind, okay? So let me get started. And you're wondering, oh my gosh, what is the secret? Well, the secret to this project is, drum roll, celery. Celery. I was making chicken noodle soup a few weeks ago for Art Jam, which we had here in Stoddard, Wisconsin. And I cut this celery off for the soup, and I'm like, that is an amazing design there. So I ran upstairs and got out my acrylic paint. This one I didn't even wash off at all. Got out my acrylic paint, and came up with this idea. I don't know if anyone else has done this. I'm sure they have. I don't know. This is just what I came up with, and I tied it into something that I learned from Dina Wakley in one of her abstract floral classes that I took, and it turned out super great. So here we go. We'll do all of the pinks first. You take your celery, and I dried this end off just on the towel here, just because sometimes when celery, you just cut it, it kind of weeps. I'm trying to keep my card bases a little bit clean because the bottom of the celery is still really dirty. So you might want to wash it and dry it. That would be a good tip to start. Look at that. I'm just putting paint on here. I'm not even going to change my brush or clean my brush. I'm just going simply like that. And remember that, look at that. Remember that you can get second and third generations, and that you want to stamp off of your paper. Now I'm going to get another piece of paper here and continue on. I just don't want to get my craft mat all dirty because I just cleaned it. And I'm liking that it's kind of paint free at the moment. I've got also a jar of paint here for my paint. A jar of water, excuse me, for my paint. I apologize. I still have my rickety desk here for filming. I will maybe get one this weekend. Rummage sales are starting soon, so I know that I will get a new desk here soon. It's just not on my top of my priority list. Now remember, I'm going to cut this one in half. So I want to go ahead and stamp 3 more on the bottom. It's nice to have numbers of 3 if you can. So look at that. Super, super great. I'm going to continue on and do several of these. It is so quick and easy. And then I will come back and we will do the green. Okay, so one more time. A tip that I want to just quick tell you is that when you're cutting your celery, make sure you cut it straight across like this. I did this with the residents at Creamery Creek where I work, and I cut one of my celery bottoms kind of crooked, so it didn't work as well as I wanted it to, and we ended up having to just use the one that I cut nicer. So I'm going to go ahead and do all of my papers by using up my paint and my celery. I figure since I have the celery cut, I want to do as much as I possibly can. And like I said, it does do second and third generations. Don't be afraid to go off the edge of your paper. It makes it look really, really nice. Let's try and do 3 in a row here like this. See what happens. That might be a really cool card, okay? So I'm going to continue on. I'm going to set all of these panels aside, and when these are dry, I will come back, and maybe not totally dry, but once I have them done, I'm going to come back. I'm going to show you how to do the green leaves, and then we'll let them dry. And I'm going to let them dry overnight. I really like when they have this texture. If you can see on here, see that texture on the roses? I like that. And so if I leave them dry overnight, we'll have that beautiful texture on our cards. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do all of these. I'll come back for the green, and then we'll leave them sit overnight. Okay? Oh, one more thing. I apologize. Don't forget your art journal spreads too. So I did these beforehand, and I just wanted to show what we could do with that. If we have time, we will go ahead and work on this as an art journal spread, okay? All right, I'll be right back. Okay, here we go. I finished stamping all of those papers, and I have enough. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22. I have enough for 22 cards. So that is going to be great plenty. Now, I know that a lot of you know this. When you watch my videos, I would never let this paint here go to waste. So I'm going to actually just make marks on some book pages. These are really great papers to use when you're creating other items, and I will show you really quickly. Something that I did make out of papers like this. I just made this cute little tote bag. Now this tote bag came from rummage sale. I think it was 10 cents or 15 cents or something like that. Well, instead of throwing that in the landfill, I saved it. I created these papers, painted papers, and then I just used my my matte medium to adhere them to the bag. If you're interested in seeing this project, let me know in the description or the comments below. I'm always looking for comments. So if you want to learn how to do this, I can show you how to cover all kinds of things with this technique. But I just wanted to make sure you weren't throwing away your papers. Make sure that you are creating on them and saving them in your stash. I love painted papers. There's lots and lots of creators that do this out there. No idea who I first saw it from. I can't tell you. I'm sorry. I watch lots of videos. I'm always trying to learn, and I love painted papers. And I will add other colors onto these papers too, and even using my underneath papers. I love hearts. Hearts are great, especially, you know, Valentine's. You're making someone special something and sending them a gift. Well, wouldn't this make really cool gift wrap to wrap that gift in? I know I can go on and on and on. And let's not forget our celery that's sitting here. Definitely we can use up the rest of this paint on some of these papers and just add a few more of these fun roses. I mean, how fun is that? I think it's just great fun. So I'm going to use up this paint really quick, and I like to also use brayer for it. It makes really great marks. And I'm kind of creating a mess, but that's all right. I like creating a mess and being creative and seeing what happens. Now these papers are going to look really great when we put some black and white on it. And like I did in these papers, this was pattern paper, and I did some found objects, circles. I'm really big into circles, so I'll probably add some circles onto here, but I just didn't want you to waste any of this yummy, yummy paint. Set these aside, work on this here, and I wanted to make sure that that was going to be an option for you. I'll set those papers aside. I'm going to wipe off clean off my brush now in some water. And this is not anything special brush. It's just the one I used with my celery. I'm going to try and get that pink off of there. And if there's a little bit of pink left on it, it's all right. It's all right. Nobody's going to have a fit about it. But I'm going to show you how to do these leaves. And here is the example here again, and one of the cards. So you can see they're super loose, just a couple of swipes of green. And the best way to do it is just not even think about it. So here's a leaf and here's a leaf and maybe one there. That's it. That is it. Don't be afraid to go off the paper. Makes it really cool. I'm going to do all of these. Just don't think about it. Just make some leaves. It doesn't matter if you're like, oh, I'm going to cut that off the paper. Who cares? It doesn't matter if some of that red mixed in there. Who cares? It's just about creating, right? So I'm going to do all my leaves. Excuse me. I'm going to do all my leaves, and then I'm going to leave all of this dry overnight, and we will come back. We will finish our video tomorrow. I have another piece of paper here. I'm going to add just a little bit of green to it just because it was on my brush. Okay, so if you're working with me, that's super great. You can go ahead and do that. One other thing, if you want to, at this stage, you can take your Stabilo pencil and go ahead and just make some random marks. I like how it blends in with the paint if you do it while it's wet. I have forgotten this stage, and I have done it when I am all completely finished, and they still turn out just great. Just make sure you're wiping off your Stabilo pencil a little bit, and what other better way to wipe it off would be onto your papers here. In between, so that when it gets paint on your Stabilo pencil, it will still work. Okay, so we're going to do our green leaves and all of our Stabilo pencil lines here. But as you can see in this art journal page, I didn't do my black Stabilo pencil when it was wet, so I'm going to do it now. It works both ways. Don't worry about it. Don't be precious. This is for fun. This is a piece of celery, the waste of celery that we're using to make this beautiful, beautiful art. See, works both ways, okay? I'm going to go ahead and do the rest of that. And like I said, I'm going to leave them overnight, and we'll be back and finish up all of our goodies. Okay, bye. All right, our pattern paper that we created is dry. I have card base, which I make out of 110-pound white paper. I get at Michael's. It's called Recollections paper. And I have a piece of red. I just go through my scraps. It doesn't need to be perfect, because look how neat that looks. It doesn't have to be perfect in here. I've got a smudge on it. Doesn't matter, because this piece is going to go over the top, okay? So this is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, the size that I do. That's a A2 size card, I believe, is what the thing is. So I'm going to cut my papers in half. I'm going to use this as a base here, and know that I need to go right about here to cut this in half to get 2 cards out of it. This one's a little wet yet. So here we go. We've got one, and obviously I'm going to do this 22 times. I have it just a little too big, so I'm going to take my trimmer out. This is a really nice trimmer, by the way. I get these at any used craft sales that I can get. I really like working with it and then not having to take my big paper trimmer when I go to a crafting event. I've got one coming up I'm super excited about, and these cards will be going with me. It's called the Madison Mingo. You can look it up online if you want. It's in Madison, Wisconsin. I like this card going this way. What you do is there's 50 people that are signed up to go to it. You have to get on the list, and then you take a card that you've designed and you take it to the Mingo, and you get 50 back. So you give out 50 and you get 50 back. So all week you create all of these 50 cards. There's drawings, there's all kinds of fun. I have never been to it before, so in a few weeks I will post a bunch in my Facebook group, which is called Everything Paper and Glue. So if you want to check that out, I will be posting, you know, what's going on, pictures of everybody there. I like to use Distress Vintage Photo, and I like to go around all the edges of my cards. I like the little vintage feel that it makes, and I like to dull down that white. In this way, if your paper is not 100% straight, or there's maybe a little blemish or something on it, it's perfectly fine. It's perfectly fine. And then I like to go around the outside of this also. I gave it a little tiny edge. I'm going to give it a little bit more of an edge. And I'm just eyeballing it. But I know that I like it to have a little bit of an edge. That's just my preference. You do you, like Tim Holtz always says, right? So here's my card put together. I'm going to go around. I'm going to put this down when I do my brown ink. Usually I do it over to the side because little pieces of this sponge sometimes come off. And then you have that brown on your desk. And then you go to put your card together, and you've got the brown smudges all on your card. It's very frustrating. So usually I go off to the side here and do my brown inking, especially when you're going to do all of them at once. I've got my little crumbles on this piece of paper. I'm just going to shake that off. And then I will put this together. Now, when I do large amounts of cards, I do, like, I will do all of these bases. I'll do all the celery first. Then I will do all the leaves. Then I'll do all the black squiggles on all of them. And then I will cut them to size. I will get my card bases all together. I do it in assembly line order because then it's so much quicker. You're only working with just a couple of tools, you know, instead of having, oh, I got to go here and do this, and I've got to go here and do this, and I've got to go here and trim it. And then at the end, everything is ready. You put it all together, and it's super, super fast to make lots of cards in bulk, okay? So good tip there for you. I do have a card class coming up. I think I'm going to do it as an online class. I was going to do it this winter, but life just gets, it just goes so fast. You know, I didn't get it done, but it's going to be called Creative Card Basics. And all of these little tips are going to be in there, like what ink you should use for what medium. You know, if I'm going to watercolor, I'm going to use colored pencils. What are the best supplies to get? And it's just my opinion by any means, but I've been making cards now for, I would say, I would say more than 25 years. So that's crazy to even think about. Okay, here's how the card is looking. I really love it. I went around the edge. I got my red on. Everything's ready to go. Okay, so now I just want to pick a little sentiment, and I've got these in this little tin. I'm just going to pop this out, grab one off. Does not matter. Find a spot, stick it on. Okay? Super cute. Love you. Yep. So this could be birthday. This could be just like if someone's going through something. This could just be a hey. This could be a thank you. You know, everything. This is just an all-around great card. And I'm going to have 22 more of them. Okay. Thanks for stopping by. I hope you liked it. I'm going to cut it off here, but I may save this and we'll do it as an art journal page. How about that? So look for that coming up. Enjoy making these cards. Get out your celery and have fun creating, okay? Keep creating. That's the most important. I will talk to you again next week, I hope. And yeah, thanks a lot. Make sure you comment below. Got it? Thanks. Bye.